Slam Down Podcast is sponsored by Body Slam and Jam, the wrestling game YouTuber. To see his videos on YouTube, search YouTube Body Slam, capital N and Jam, or to follow him by Twitter, it is at Body Slam, capital N, Jam. Welcome to another episode of Slam Down Podcast. One thing I do want to say is I have been very critical on TNA. There's a couple of points that I do want to bring up about Billy Corgan, who did a podcast talking about what he wanted for TNA, what he was trying to do. But I'll talk about that after I've done the Impact review. First things I'm going to mention, it was a lot better than last week. There was a lot of improvement. I found last week a bit dreary. This week was definitely, for me, been a very big improvement. So, they started the show off with the highlights of Matt Hardy, with him losing his broken brilliance, and with Jeff. And I've done what TNA do. Called him Jeff Hardy when he's now Brother Nero. We saw Brother Nero and Rebby trying to bring back his broken brilliance, failed, and then we saw at the end he lost his temper, went outside with, if there's the 7 deities, 8 deities, give me a sign, hit by lightning, and got his memory back. After that video package, we saw Aaron Rex coming down to the ring with his Grand Championship and did an open challenge. As he stood there, Moose's music hit and he was going, no, hit Grado's music, thinking that Grado was going to take the open challenge. And he tells the crowd to stop doing the Moose train, which led into the match, which was, of course, Moose versus Aaron Rex. Can't really say much about the match because it was over quite quickly. Moose hit that spinning clothesline and got the pin victory on Aaron Rex. It was, to me, it wasn't like the judges had time to even sit down. It was over that quick. JBL tries to talk to Rex when he was heading backstage, but Rex couldn't do anything. He put the towel over his head, looked like he was crying as he went backstage. And then we saw earlier today when someone asked Brother Nero if Broken Matt has arrived yet, and basically said he doesn't know and doesn't know how he's going to act, but they will defend the tag team champions. And then I can't remember what else happened after that. Was it? He said it was like deja vu or something like that. And then as he pulled his sunglasses down and it revealed one black white eye. which is kind of weird to me because with Matt Hardy having lost his broken brilliance, Brother Nero never really changed. So why did they, when Matt was broken, have him Jeff Hardy? And it doesn't make sense to me. Surely he should still be Brother Nero. You know, it's the inconsistency for me with TNA, and that's what I find a lot. Went to a commercial break, and it said still to come, Rosemary versus Jade for the vacant knockouts. I'm guessing Gail Kim's injured or something, and that's why they're doing this, because there hasn't been really much word about that. But then we saw DCC cutting a promo using a robotic voice. Another thing that I do want to clarify before I go on to this, something that really irritated me. It was only happened at the start of the show, but if you notice when they cut to the crowd, it's not the live crowd that's there watching. They're using past crowd. And the reason I clocked this is in one of the pans, when it pans over the crowd, you saw the old staging of Impact Wrestling. And it was like, right, do you know what I mean? Why would you do something like that? You know? And you could tell the lighting was different as well. I don't know if it was Dixie Carter that made that decision or not, but it was awful. You know? Words can't explain the annoyance that was. Why use old footage of crowd? You've got a crowd there. What, is the crowd not big enough? Are you not selling enough tickets? Or are you trying to hide the problems of TNA? You know, that's what got to me. But yeah, we saw the DCC cut a promo in that weird robot voice, which I sort of don't get, because end of the day, we know who they are. But yeah. But hang on, they carried on and they said they're the voice of the voiceless, if you will. The masks they wearing aren't to hide their faces, but to show they're not afraid to take a stand. They're not here to delete anyone. They're not here to make everyone obsolete, but the Hardys found out the hard way when they stood in the DCC's way. And that they would be erased. The more bodies that fall, the more that DCC will rise. Right, okay. Yeah. Brother Neuro music hits, drawing attention of the DCC. Neuro comes to the ring with the tag team champions hanging around his neck. He enters the ring, mic in hand, stands across from the DCC. Neuro says the DCC thinks they're a virus that they're spreading, and they want their championship. So the DDC is going to get the title match tonight, but they're fighting two men that survived the Great War. Two men that took part in Final Deletion, got stronger. Nero might have been transformed, but he's at one with it. The DDC fate is far worse than will be sealed with the push of what the promos are so poor. The one button delete. Kingston laughs, asks where Matt is. Nero kicks him and delivers a twist of fate. James Storm and Bram just turned into attack, really. The lights go out and we see broken Matt is in the ring. Bram charges. Side effect. Storm charges. Matt dumps him from the ring. Brother Nero gets the mic. Brother, I knew you'd come. Matt grabs the mic. The tag team titles of the world belong to my broken brilliance. Matt says that tonight the DDC will get the fight they desire. And the DDC now stands for deletion. Coming, cowards. Promo package with Mandrews and Brian Shutter. They say, see, I've said this before, I can't understand why Braxton Sutter is in the X Division. He's not an X Division guy. He's quite boring, to be honest. But, you know. He says the time is on the line. All bets are off. DJZ says fighting your friends is tough because you know them best. And they know how injured DJ is. And the question is, will anybody go for them? DJ says he'll support his friends regardless of the outcome. One thing I've noticed with the X Division, the fans keep cheering for Mandrews, but they don't put the title on him. You know, TNA has always prized itself on for the fans. We want always what the fans want, but they're not. And I'll explain this more after I've done the review. But so we have Brian Sutter versus Mandrews versus DJZ. It was quite a good match. You know, by the end of the match, it looked like Mandrews was going to get the victory, but then DJZ slides in, rolls Mandrews up, gets the victory. What a surprise. But at the end of that, you see Mandrews looks frustrated and he's goaded by Sutter into congratulating DJZ. Mandrews kicks DJZ in the back of the knee, taking him down. Sutter wonders what Mandrews was doing. We're a team, but Mandrews says the belt should be his, that he had it won, and DJZ is always sitting in the spotlight. Okay, so they're going to run an angle where Mandrews is... Right, okay. Now I see where they're going with that. Bad booking. Really just bad booking. Right, we saw Lauren is about to be mean to Ali. Lauren says she's guessing she's going to have to be doing some cheering up tonight since Braxton lost. Ali questions why she's never seen Lauren and Braxton together. Laura says they're keeping it on the down low. Braxton feels sorry for Ali. Ali says this is not what Braxton says to her. Lauren says that's the point. He's just being nice to you, Ali. But Lauren doesn't have to be nice. She knows Ali's trying to hit her in the face with the pie last week. Guess what? Ali will never have a man like Braxton. And after tonight, Ali won't even have a job. Later tonight, CC, well, just said about later tonight about the tag team match and the main event inside 6 Hard to Steel. I just get the feeling with the women being in the 6 Hard to Steel, it's a bit like, oh, okay, the women on Raw, they did it Hell in a Cell. Oh no, what? We're doing 6 Hard to Steel. Right, okay. To me, TNA does feel like it's copying the WWE a hell of a lot, and it's annoying. The only difference is the Matt Hardy angle, but the rest just seems like watered down to what the WWE would do. We see Ali come to the ring, looking nervous, walking slowly down the ring, being yelled at the entire time by Maria and Lauren. Maria yells at the crowd not to cheer her. Basically, they were bullying Ali again, and then we saw Ali actually stand up to him. Ali slapped Maria, and Maria yells that was a mistake. Lauren attacks Ali, beating her down until Maria pulls her off, and they leave the ring. It's nothing really interesting. Then we saw DCC head to the ring, and James Storm's still wearing his suit. Matt Hardy and Brother Naira make their way to the Impact Zone. There's a fan in the crowd that whip together a delete coming coward sign. The Hardys stand in the ring across from the DCC, calling for their deletion. Now, as people know, I try not to go in the match too much. It was a good match, actually, to be honest. It was, you know, I got into this match quite a bit. The Matt Hardy and Jeff win, of course. You know, they're not going to drop the titles off the Hardy with the direction they're pushing the Hardys. But it was a good match. It's worth a watch. And then we saw the highlight package leading up to the main event. Then we saw we saw a video package of Mara Show and House and saying they're coming for the tribunal. It wasn't really that interesting, to be honest, but yeah. We saw EC3 heading into the ring. Matt Matthew puts over the EC3 for shutting up Eli Drake. They mention that if Eli Drake talks, he'll be fine. His fine will be 25 grand. EC has a mic, straps in the crowd chant. Basically calls Eddie Edwards down to the ring and congratulates him and saying that he's coming for that title. And then you see him leave the ring. Again. Then we came up to the main event. Now, it was a good match, but it felt to me like they're trying to be better than the women's division on WWE, and it failed. There were some good points to the match, but it wasn't like, oh my god, hardcore match. You know, it was a good few high spots. You know, it was nothing spectacular. But we saw Rosemary get the victory with a gut-wrench suplex. Oh no, sorry. That was the one Rosemary kicked out of. Oh yeah, Jade was going to go for a 450 splash, but Rosemary sprayed the mist. And then put Jade into a fireman's carry and then got the victory. It was alright. It's, like I said, it was better than last week, but it's still not great. For me, anyway. It feels like there's something missing from TNA. It still feels like they're being the WWE copy brand instead of being TNA, the alternative, the better promotion or the better product. It feels like they're still copying. And that frustrates me. As a fan, I've watched TNA for since day one. So, when I'm on here and I'm saying these things about TNA, I'm not here to put TNA down. I'm not here to, be a mark. I'm being honest as a wrestling fan of seeing what TNA can be and to see what TNA are at now. The product is failing. The X Division feels like it's being left behind. It's just a mess. Yes, there's a lot of good match. There's a lot of potential here, but something's not right. You can see they're lacking funding. They're lacking money. We haven't had any news about a pay-per-view. And to be honest, I wish Corgan did take over TNA because he would have been able to put the finances in and take the product over and make the product better. I listened to the podcast where he talks about Dixie Carter, about how they were friends, and he said soon as he became president, she was trying to force him out. He says the rumours are true. The debt is that bad. The lawsuits, there's so many of them coming through. Now, I used to sit back and say, oh, it's just the internet, it's just rumours. But no, it's true. TNA are in the shit. Big time. He's already said if he didn't pay out the last tapings, they would have folded. Simple. But he did it. He paid out to help TNA because he believes in TNA. And he says he didn't do it for Dixie Carter. He did it for the guys in the back. Now, the main point that he said is Dixie Carter treats TNA like her play toy. That it's her daddy's money and it's her play toy. That's how she treats TNA. She said when it comes to tapings, she's not there. Nowhere to be seen. No direction. No one giving anything. But when she's on screen, that's it. She's on screen, but she does nothing behind the wrestling side. Now, makes me believe if that's true and if that's the way Dixie Carter's always been. So back in, I'm going to call it the olden days, the better days of TNA. So does that mean that was Jeff Jarrett and Vince Russo running the company? And Dixie was just there on screen a couple of times? And then because of she wanted a change, she thought, nah, I'll bring someone else trying it, and I'll bring a Hogan and Bischoff. It's annoying for me. It's, when TNA could have been such a good product, and then to let it slip and then become this, not taking anything away from their roster, because it's not the wrestler's fault. TNA needs a leader. It needs, like ECW had its Paul Heyman. TNA needs that one person, and it's not Dixie Carter. That one person who can run that ship, steer it in the right direction, bring the right talent in. And to me, that one person could have been Corgan. Now, we know this other company has bought TNA and Dixie is on the board, but that company needs to get rid of Dixie and say, do you know what? We'll let Dixie go. We'll have a talk with Billy Corgan, and that's what they need to do next. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm going to keep reviewing TNA, and I'm going to keep hoping that TNA will get better. But that's it for today's show. I will be back on in just over half an hour with the Table and Ladders and Chairs review. So, a big thank you to all the fans watching. Don't forget to leave your comments on what you thought of the Impact. And we'll see you in half an hour with TLC.